Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 51, which is the gate of shock. Okay, so we start, the sun in gate 51 started April 4th, late in the day. It also has the earth in gate 57, which is the gate of intuition. So we've got the 51 coming off the will center right here. And if you happen to have the 25, like I do, it would, create a channel for you this week. And then we've got the 57 coming off the top of the spleen, which is right here. And so if you have either of those adjoining gates, you'll have a full channel with either of those this week. But basically, the 51 is all about shock, and the 57 is intuition. So you put the shock and the intuition together, and it's actually a nice mix for having change in your life and having things move along, let's say, and progress in your life. So this week we've got no definition with the way things are, except for when the moon comes in and out of separate gates. But that's only 10 hours at a time, so I don't usually put that in. So there's no definition in the chart. Only the nodes are retrograde right now, the north and south nodes. And Pluto, you might have heard, has just moved into Aquarius for a little bit from March 23rd till June 11th. Then it goes retrograde, and then it goes back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn for a bit, and then finally it'll move into Aquarius. And this is basically what people talk about as the beginning of the age of Aquarius. This is starting now, basically. It's some other planets have moved into Aquarius also, but this is kind of the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So it's a pretty interesting time. And as you can tell, there are interesting things going on in the world, lots of energy moving. I find the energy moving very quickly. A lot of people are saying that, but it's also a good time for boundaries and balance and peace and self-care, right? Those are things to focus on over the next few months, because the energies will be a little tumultuous. I'll just say that. The full moon is in Libra on the 5th or 6th, depending on where you are in the world. It's the start of, it's interesting, actually, even though the religions tend not to espouse astrology, it turns out that, as you may or may not know, Passover starts the night of the full moon following the equinox, right? The spring equinox. And Easter, and everything that goes around that, Holy Week and Easter week and all that stuff. Easter is based on the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the equinox. So even though both of those are religious celebrations and religious timings, they are based on the sun and the moon. And so that's always kind of interesting and ironic, right? The full moon will be in Libra, which gives us a little balance, right? Even though there's a lot of, and you might have seen in the night sky, some of the planets that are out. One night there were actually 8 planets that were visible to the naked eye. And we were able to see quite a few of them. So it was pretty interesting. But this full moon, and a lot of those are in Aries. It just because they're in the same part of the sky. It's basically the same degree or the same gate. A lot of them are in gate 21, which was last week, and now we're moving into gate 51 this week. And it's always interesting to me that the 21, which is all about control, is immediately preceding gate 51, which is the gate of shock. So 21 tries to have control. 51 is very shocking. So there were always interesting times at the beginning of April. So this full moon's in Libra, and I just wanted to mention it because Libra is the scales, if you remember your astrology signs, and that's about balance, right? So keep in mind the balance, the boundaries, self-regulation, self-care, taking care of yourself, and being in a place of, think of yourself as the middle of the storm, right? Having a peace about you, no matter what is going on around you, because there's a lot of tumult going on around us right now. So with this gate 51 in the sun, it is the gate of shock, also called the arousing in the original I Ching. It's the ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. So basically the shock will happen, and whether it's speaking or doing, and whether it's you doing it or somebody else doing it, we all are, we all have shock at times in our lives. There are shocking things that happen, or shocking things are said. And so we get to respond to that disorder and shock in a way that recognizes and adapts to what's going on so that we can move forward, right? Because it's going to be uncomfortable when you hear that or see that, but it basically is about initiation. It helps us to move forward in whatever goals we've got. Think of it as a shaman type of energy, where they kind of shock you or get you into a different frame of mind to have the changes occur in your life. So the incarnation crosses this week are the cross of penetration, shock, and the clarion. And then in the gate 57, and in quantum human design, it's called initiation, the gate of initiation. In gate 57, we've got intuition, also called the gentle or the intuitive, with clarity in the original I Ching. And this is the extraordinary power of clarity, really basically bubbling up from inside of us, and then being able to either speak it or imagine it or know it in some way, and gaining clarity as a result of the intuitive information that you've received. In the gene keys, unease is the shadow, intuition is the gift, and clarity is the CD. And in quantum human design, it's called instinct. So with the gene key 51, the shadow is agitation, the gift is initiative, and the CD is awakening. And so you can see how it moves from the agitation level of frequency to initiative, taking your power, right? Taking initiative and creating power as a result of it, and then finally moving to awakening, because that initiation will eventually lead us to a place of awakening. And actually, what I've been hearing from a number of teachers is that a lot of people will be awakening especially during April and May of this year. And so, that should help everyone to be kind of moving up the scale in their frequency and feeling better and feeling more alive, more awakened, more enlightened, more, more open to possibilities of what can be if we have a world that's based on oneness, based on peace and harmony and coming together. Again, I keep intending and imagining that the war in Ukraine will come to a peaceful ending. And, who knows, maybe something around NATO and the new country coming into NATO of Finland and Sweden about to be coming in, will have some, will cause some action or reaction with Russia that leads to a peaceful ending. He says in the graphic, initiative always involves a leap. And so this is what this initiation is about. This shock is a leap, right? So you hear something shocking, you say something shocking, or it happens to you. Something shocking happens to you. All of those things make us grow, right? We have to grow, we have to expand, we have to figure out what to do as a result of this shocking occurrence. And then we get to make a leap. We usually leap into something that hopefully is better. It might be uncomfortable for a while, but it will usually lead to something better. He also says the hallmark of all shadow frequencies is a profound lack of trust in life itself. And so we get agitated because we don't trust that things are going to turn out okay. One of my favorite Abraham Hicks sayings is, everything is always working out for me. I try to live by that. It's not always easy, but that's one of my mantras. Everything is always working out for me, no matter how it looks. Appearances are not usually what they seem to be. Things are, as you can tell, there are a lot of things that are coming out in the news, in different ways, let's say, that we're hearing and seeing a lot of shocking things these days. It's no coincidence that, some of the things that are being, that are in the news this week are on both the full moon, right? The full moon week and and the gate 51. So, if you can be shocked if you want, but some of it isn't all that shocking. And so he also says it's not possible for a human being to awaken without first stepping fully into their creative independence. So the whole idea of the 51 is moving, having a shock, but moving into this creative independence that allows for awakening, right? So that allows us to move on, that allows us to grow and hopefully move closer to the reason we're here and making sure that that's happening. A number of people had birthdays this week. I'm just going to spend a few minutes on Pharrell Williams because I got it wrong last year when I did it for his birthday last year. So I want to redo it. Somebody recently mentioned that I had the wrong time, and I did. So I apologize for that. I think I had something in the morning, and it turns out that he was born at 23:30 or 11:30 at night. And so that is the correct timing. And he was born on April 5th, 1973. So he's having his 50th birthday today. He is a projector as a result of this. The graphic or the chart I had last year had him as a generator, very open generator, still very open projector. But he is a projector with the 2-4 profile. He's the right angle cross of penetration. You probably know him as singer, producer, songwriter, rapper, fashion designer. And I found recently that he, just as of February, a few months ago, he's been taken on a position with Louis Vuitton in Paris, and now being in charge of all menswear designs, which is a pretty big deal. And it's pretty cool to see that. He's got a great fashion sense, and he is a fashion designer as well, and an entrepreneur. So I hadn't heard too much in terms of singing, but that's why he's been focused, I take it, on being in Paris and designing fashions for Louis Vuitton. He does have I just thought this was interesting to mention, he's got a rare brain condition, which is called synesthesia, and it's where he sees. Let's see if I can get this right. He sees music as color, which is a really cool thing. And he brushed it off and said, well, a lot of musicians have that. But it's apparently a pretty rare condition. And so it's something that allows him to see in front of him the music as colors, which is pretty cool. And since he does have a very open lash now, I'm not surprised. All he has is the only gate he has is the 11, and this is the gate of ideas. It's not considered one of the auditory gates, so I'll do a little more research and see if I can figure out how that's coming in. But he does have the gate 23 off the throat. That's all he has is basically articulation, assimilation, basically taking the ideas in and assimilating and producing those sounds for people. He does have that gate 51 right up in his conscious sun, and the gate 57, which is all about clarity and intuition. So that's a huge help. And it's interesting too that he has just the emotional solar plexus. He does have the 3955, which is one of the individual channels of emotions. And over here, he's got what connects is the 3254, which is all about business, having a business and being ambitious in business, which obviously he is. And then the 1858, which is all about having correcting things and editing and changing things up to bring people closer to the joy of life. And probably the best example I can think of is his song Happy, right? Where he's bringing, you can't hear that song and not feel good about it, right? Kids love it, adults love it, old people love it. It's a ubiquitous song at this point, but it gets the point across of exactly what he's trying to bring forward. And he's got the gate 41, so he's also got that creativity. 22, charm and grace, which he always is. The 35, which is all about change. He likes to change things up. Look at all the different things he's done as a projector, taking time, it seems, between projects so that he can stay well and, healthy and take care of himself. 46, which means he's here to, whatever he does, he's going to want to, it's called the love of the flesh, but it's also persistence and determination, which he's got quite a bit of each of those. sensitivity in the 19, starting things in the 53. 9 is all about focus. It is interesting that he has both the 21 and the 51 in his Chiron. So after 50 years old, which is just now approaching, he'll be focused on the shocking, but also controlling. So again, it's that balance of doing and saying shocking things to move forward. But he's used to that because he's got it in his sun, and the 21, which he doesn't actually have in his chart, which is perhaps controlling the effects of the shock, right? So if you put those two things together, that's how he might play them out. Happy birthday, Pharrell. Happy 50th birthday. How exciting. And he does have, I'll just mention, I just noticed the 54 and the 53 here, but then he's also got the 54 and the 53 here in his nodes. So he's got the 54 twice, and the 53 twice. So 54 up, and he's got the 54 3 times. So yes, he's an ambitious projector, and he will keep going, I'm sure. With lots and lots of energy. So happy birthday, and hope you have a great week. Be wary, or be aware of the shocking things that happen, the shocking things you might say that might pop out of your mouth without your free thinking them. That can happen. That's the kind of week it will be. Things will pop out of people's mouths, and they will say things or do things that are shocking, and just be aware and react in a way that makes sense for you. So have a great week, and if you're celebrating or observing either Passover or Easter, I wish you a wonderful celebration and time with family, and be well.